filing for divorce. I hate that so much. Let's go ahead and talk about Jennifer Williams and her fiance, Christian Gold, aka Christian Walden. All right, so for those of you who don't know, Jennifer Williams, very beautiful, stunning. She looks like a beautiful gazelle to me. Not that, her beauty has anything to do with it, but just describing her. But she's been on Basketball Wives for the last, 15 years? Mm-hmm. She was married to a basketball player. His name was Eric. I can't remember his last name, but he basically is a facially challenged man with a big knot on his forehead. Anyway, she was married to him for about 10 years. Obviously, she lived a great lifestyle with him. There was infidelity, mental, verbal abuse. On this show, when they were going through their divorce, you could see there was a scene where they were having a heated exchange, going back and forth with each other, and he threw a drink in her face on TV. Big, tall, facially challenged black man throw a drink in this woman's face. Now, to give you context, she didn't put her hands on him. Not that that's an excuse or makes any difference, but he did throw a drink in her face just because they were having a heated discussion about their separation, okay? So she was with him for about 10 years. They divorced. She healing on the show. She out ripping and running the street with Evelyn Lozada. We know how Evelyn get down. All right, so fast forward to that. She's dating different men in the entertainment industry, and she eventually ends up dating another reality TV star, Eric Williams. That was his name. I knew his first name, but I didn't know the last name. Thank you, Toya. So that was her husband, Eric Williams. So a couple of years went by. Later on, she ended up dating Tim Norman from Sweetie Pies. Y'all know Sweetie Pies, that family-owned soul food restaurant based in St. Louis, Missouri. She dated Tim. Tim was accused of and eventually convicted of setting up the murder of his actual nephew, allegedly. And so he's currently serving time in prison. I'm talking about Tim now, Gloria's Love. Big hips Tim, yes. All right. Y'all killing me in these calls. I'm trying to stay focused. Yo. Tim Norman was a co-owner of the Sweetie Pies restaurant in St. Louis with his mom. What was her name? Was it Miss Bobby? Miss Robbie.
Miss Robbie.
Robbie, yeah. And Miss Robbie used to be a background singer for Tina Turner and the Ikeettes. Okay. And her son is Tim Norman. And Tim Norman already did a long prison stint prior to being on the reality TV show Sweetie Pies. Mm-hmm. But he got out of prison and his mom brought him into the family business, and he was able to get back on his feet, get his money up. And he was actually able to turn Sweetie Pies into a very successful franchise. Not only did they have locations in St. Louis, but they had locations in Houston and in California as well. And unfortunately, Tim wasn't on the up and up with the business finances. And so in efforts to get money and viciously and in an evil manner, he decided to set up his young troubled nephew to get unalived so that he could collect the life insurance policy on his nephew. Mm-hmm. Now, sad. Very sad. His brother's son. Now, his brother had been killed years ago, so his nephew had to grow up without his father. And so Miss Robbie, his mom, took his nephew in because he was having trouble in his home city. And so they wanted him to get him out of that environment so that he could have a fair chance and a better chance at life. So he could actually graduate from high school and move on to do bigger and better things, which he did graduate from high school. And they were also bringing him in so he could get that male mentorship from his uncle and his cousins, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So, again, Tim sets his nephew up to get unalived. He gets unalived. He unalives him for the insurance policy. It comes out that that's what he did. He gets sentenced. He's currently serving time for that. All right. Now, moving on, after, Jen and Tim, they never really seemed like a good fit. It always seemed like Jen was just too bougie for Tim.
And
but
she was trying to mold him into something that he really wasn't.
But he was trying his hardest to impress her, but you can just tell they just weren't compatible at all. But he was trying. I think he had been watching Jen on TV for so many years, and just the fact that he was finally able to get on her radar, it was like, I finally got the trophy, the prize. Just something he could check off his bucket list. Like, wow, this type of chick is really fooling with me. Okay? So, they dated. You could tell she didn't really like him, but Sweetie Pies was doing really good at that time, so he had a little bit of coins. All right, so they dated, and then eventually they fell out, and she ended up getting a restraining order on him. I think he ended up getting a restraining order on her as well for stalking, harassment. Like, their relationship ended really, really bad. All right, so that ends with Tim. Then she starts dating these random dudes in LA, casually, blah, 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 nothing too serious. And then she starts dating the gentleman that she knows now, Christian Gold, the 31-year-old, and Jen is 48. Okay. So we're going to bring you up to speed about this current guy that she's dating. Okay. So she met him here in that.
Cisco. Okay.
Do I need to read the comments before I go on? Let me see. Y'all are...
We're just talking about the water, but somebody said she dated Cisco. I'm here for the show. I'm here for the show. No, the tea.
She dated Cisco from Love and Hip Hop, the light-skinned dude from the Creep Squad. Peter and Stevie J and that Hispanic dude they used to hang with. She dated him too. Yes, I can't forget that. And yes, R. Kelly's ex-wife, Andrea Kelly, says she been with Cisco for